Hey everyone, thanks for joining us here today at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we talk about books of all types to help spread the joy of reading. Today we are talking about Tarzan books. So this is a little bit of a review, a little bit of a mini haul. So if you've been around a while, you know earlier in the year we tried for the first time Tarzan of the Apes by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and we loved it. We have two people to thank for that. Michael K. Vaughn, who sent us our original Edgar Rice Burroughs starter pack, which included the first couple books of Tarzan, and Dia over at Novel Idea, who got us to buddy read that first book. Both of them will be linked below. If you haven't already checked them out, you should. And without both of them, we probably still would not yet have tried Tarzan to this day, which would be a tragedy because, as I said, we absolutely loved that book. We had no idea how good a book that was, and it is probably our favorite book of the year so far. So we've continued to read Tarzan, and at this point, Dia and I have continued to buddy read them, and we have just finished our fourth book. Well, not our fourth, not just finished, but like a month ago, but I just didn't review it yet. So anyway, so because now I know that there are 24 Tarzan books by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and at this point I'm expecting to read them all because I'm enjoying them so much. So we have started to put together a collection of them. We had picked them up piecemeal, but now we decided on a collection to put together, which I'll show you the beginnings of that in a minute. But first, we should review the book that we just finished, which is the fourth book in the series, which is The Son of Tarzan. And so we really enjoyed this one. We've enjoyed them all, but we really, really enjoyed this one. And one of the great things about these Tarzan books, at least so far, is that Edgar Rice Burroughs does something a little bit different with each one. It's not the same story being repeated. This one, same thing with this one, but this one is a little bit different because it's a little bit of the same thing again, but also very different. So what this story is, of course, is about the son of Tarzan. So this is not a spoiler. Right in the beginning, you know, Tarzan's son ends up going to the jungle, and for a cute reason. I mean, it's not cute what happens, but for a kind of a cute reasons starts this off, and why his son ends up back in the jungle. So the story is about his son's adventures, basically, in the primitive wilderness. And there is a major female character in this as well that is somewhat of a Jane character. And so that's sort of what I meant about this book being both similar and same. But book 2 was very different than 1. Book 3 was very different from both 1 and 2. And now this one, we are once again told a story with a Tarzan-like figure who is a son, and a major female character who gets together with Tarzan's son. But it's also very different in that they are different people. They are definitely different characters with different personalities. It's not a repeat of Tarzan and Jane. And it's really the reverse of what we saw in the original Tarzan of the Apes, where here, both of the characters are actually becoming, they were civilized as children, and they're growing up as they're becoming more primitive and learning to live in this more primitive way of life. And, this story was actually very, very engaging. There was a lot that happened in this. And the female character in this one actually had a much bigger part than Jane did. So it's not about the female character, but a lot of this is about follows Tarzan's son, and a lot of it follows the major female character, who I won't say the name of yet, just in case. I can't remember if that would spoil anything or not. But, and then they have, they get together, but they have somewhat of a different relationship than Tarzan and Jane did. And there's a lot, I almost want to say that more happened in this story than any of the others. I'd have to really think about that, but I think that's true. there was a lot happening in this. There was a lot of twists, things constantly changing, very, very action-packed. They were all action-packed, but this one was really, really action-packed with lots of different characters. Villains, as always, in these books, and just lots and lots of plot development throughout this book. And so it was pretty good. There was a couple of ways in which it was, maybe a little bit inferior to, the first Tarzan book is definitely the best so far. I would have to say that this one probably, now reflecting back on it, this one is probably my second favorite of the four, second only to the original. And this, there was a couple ways in which it's a little bit inferior to that first book. One thing is that, for all these Tarzan books, of course, you have to implement some suspension of disbelief, right? Because there's a lot of superhero superhero type stuff happening, and like superhero level type stuff happening, and just an awful lot of coincidence, a lot of crazy coincidence to move the story forward. So that's throughout the books, and you have that here. But in this book, it was just even a little more exaggerated. It was a little just stuff just happened like too fast and too easily, just because he's Tarzan's son, I guess, and a lot of coincidence. And so, but as I said, with all these books, you have to suspend disbelief a bit. So it wasn't something that made the book bad. It was just a little more extreme, but it didn't really impact the quality of the book all that much. Another significant difference that I noticed in this was that these books, they tend to have a lot of violence, but it's not like, I read a lot of horror. It's not that like, common, like graphic, gory horror type of, it's violence in the sense that, I almost want to say like pure violence. It's violence because, they're in the jungle, right? And they're fighting apes and lions and even like other, primitive peoples. And so there's a lot of violence in that sense, but it's not shocking violence, I guess I would say. But in this book, which I hadn't really seen before, is as I said, there's a lot of attention on the female character in this book. And there is all of the suspect male characters in the book are very, very preoccupied with basically taking this female character, basically almost like to make her a sexual slave, you know what I mean? And, there's nothing like graphic in this book or anything, but there is this quite extensive obsession with this among the male characters and this young female character. And so it was a little weird for a Tarzan book because, like I said, nothing bad, and read plenty of bad books, and this was nothing like that. It was just a little unusual to see it in a Tarzan book, some of these stressful moments centered around that issue, So it's just something I wasn't expecting. It wasn't a problem with the book. It was the first time I'd seen it really in a Tarzan book. But other than those like little differences, like I said, this book was really, really good, and it was a really, really exciting story, and like I said, probably our second favorite. So we would highly recommend this. This one also, because it's new characters, and I don't know, maybe if Dia's watching, maybe she can chime in on this. But I think this book actually you could read as a standalone on its own without having read the other books. No reason to do that really, because the first Tarzan book is the phenomenal book, so you should definitely read that. But I think you really could read this as the connections are there, of course, but I think you could definitely read this as a standalone. So that's the review of The Son of Tarzan. So now what we've decided to do is we've started to put together a collection, and of course these have been out for over 100 years, so there are many different versions of Tarzan books. And we started with Michael K. Vaughan sent us this very nice volume of Tarzan of the Apes, and this is the first 3 books. This is Tarzan of the Apes, Return of Tarzan, and The Beasts of Tarzan. And we have decided that, we looked at, we've seen a lot of these different versions, and we decided that the collection we want to put together is this version, these Ace science fiction classics, because these have these great, we just think they're cool, the size of the books, but they also have these great Frank Frazetta covers. These are just amazing, and I'll walk you through these. But if these don't, I'm going to try to do them here, but if these don't come out great, I'll put a little tabletop viewing at the end so you can see the covers better. But so we started to put this together. You know, we basically got we've seen, you know, we collected some other ones just in the wild, which I'll show you as well. But these Ace Vintage Science Fiction Classics, we got, you know, we started with buying a set on eBay. So it's some random ones. So the first one is, we got a copy of The Beasts of Tarzan, which is number 3 in the series. Okay. Then, as I said, number 4, which we just reviewed, The Son of Tarzan. Try to hold those each there for you for a minute so you can get a good shot of them. Then the 5th in the series, which is the next one that Dee and I will be buddy reading, is Tarzan and the Jewels of Opar. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Very, very cool covers. Then the next one is book 6, Jungle Tales of Tarzan. Tarzan of the Apes challenges the savage wilderness. And this one, I believe, is a set of stories. Yeah, Tarzan stories. Look at that cover. Okay. And then the next one is, this one is book 12 in the series, Tarzan and the Lost Empire. I think this one is my favorite cover. Favorite cover so far, anyway. And then book 14 in the series, which is Tarzan the Invincible. And then book 15 in the series, Tarzan the Triumphant. I mean, I just love all these covers. These, I don't know when these were published, in the maybe not the 30s. I don't know when these were published, but these were published some time ago. As you see, they were 40 cents, most of them. And these were I just love these Frank Frazetta covers. But we also had a few others that we had picked up in the wild that are not. We're going to try to put together a full collection of those Ace science fiction classics, but just show you some of these other ones that we had. We got, this is book 8. This is an early Ballantine book, Tarzan the Terrible, number 8 in the series. And then these are some other Ballantine versions. This is book 13, Tarzan at the Earth's Core. Also a very cool cover. This is At the Earth's Core, so this is a crossover between Tarzan and Edgar Rice Burroughs' one of Edgar Rice Burroughs' other series called Pellucidar. At the Earth's Core was the first book in that series, and that's a Hollow Earth series. I think it's like 7 books. I forget what number. I think that it might be like number 4 in the Pellucidar series or something. And then this is another Ballantine book, number 14, Tarzan the Invincible, which we also have in the Ace classic version. So those are the Tarzan books that we have so far, but as I said, we're going to be trying to put together over time a full collection of the Ace science fiction classics. So maybe when we finish putting the set together, we'll show those again, show you guys the full collection of all 24. But so we're excited. The only thing is you have to be pretty careful reading these because they're old and small. But I didn't have a problem with Son of Tarzan. I just took some care while I was reading it, and it stayed in pretty pristine condition. So. Okay, so that's our Tarzan review and haul. So hope that was enjoyable. So thanks so much for watching, as always. If you guys have any comments about Tarzan in general or any of these books, of course, as always, let us know. Or you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji because she does always like to see those. So we'll see you very soon. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.